Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at, and I'm here with another video. And this video is quite actually has a lot of people question: Are we independent contractors, which is self-employed for same thing, or are we employees? See, a lot of time when we, jeez, it's actually still out. So, question becomes quite forward. Self-employed or employee? Let's actually start with first thinking about contracts like contractor, subcontractor in construction field. You have a builder that's building a home. He has a plan, which drawn out plan, and then different people from different fields come in. Let's say first somebody comes in and preps the land. Then you have plumbers come in and run pipes. Then you have concrete guys come in and they pour concrete foundation. In some cases, you'll have electricians come in before actually foundation as well and run their wiring, depending if it's a slab or a foundation. So then you have framers come in, they frame it. Then you have inspectors come in. After that, you have installation guys come in, electrical come in, heating guys come in, plumbers come in. Then you have siders come in from the outside, roofers come in, and eventually, when all of these things get passed, you have sheetrockers come in and then cover all that up and start, working on the inside of the home. So let's actually read what this IRS has to say, and I'm going to actually kind of talk about these steps compared to construction and us as independent contractors. So common law rule, in other words, common sense, which and they're kind of telling you here where you want to start using your common sense. So the first thing is behavior. Does the company control or have the right to control what the worker does and how the worker does his or her job? So if the company does not control that, first indication it's most likely independent contractor or self-employed. So let's look at us as drivers. Does the company teach us how to deliver? No. You just hire drivers and hope that they do the best job they can. Does the company tells us when to show up to work? No, it doesn't. We we pick our own schedule and we run with it. What else? Does the company tells us how we're supposed to perform the job? Kind of not really. It does tell us we have to come and pick up the food at the restaurant and we have to deliver the food to the customer. It provides us a restaurant. It also provides a time because these parts are actually identified in our contract. That we have certain amount of time to pick up the food, certain amount of time to get it delivered. So here you could call it a gray area, but if IRS were actually taken and investigated, they will still call it that the DoorDash is within perimeters because that is their model. We are not told the time that we have to get up to work, the time we have to work till. We are doing it our own vehicles, but there is something that is a questionable. So now, let's move to the next category. Are the business aspects of the worker job controlled by the payer? These include things like how worker is paid, whether expenses are reimbursed, and who provides the tools and supplies. So, do we have reimbursed for our time. Yes. See, even though we love when DoorDash covers us for half pay, if if a job goes wrong, but DoorDash reimburses us, and with financial situation is where it becomes questionable. Next, who provides tools? And I'll ask you again. Did you got a red card? It's a tool. We're not going to say app because, okay, app is what actually allows us to actually know where to go. But did you receive a hot bag? That's a tool. See, as a self-employed, as a contractor, I'm not going to talk about red card. I'm not going to talk about app. But a bag is something that needs to be supplied like a car. It needs to be supplied by a contractor, by a self-employed. But it is being supplied by DoorDash. So in this situation, yes, we are treated as an employee because DoorDash considers us to be so, I'm going to say, incompetent. That they're telling us, hey, we'll supply you the tool because you're not capable to supply the tool yourself. And then, supplies. How many of you have received a mask, received a hand sanitizer, and some other things from DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub for free? You didn't buy it. You received it for free. It was also not a reward you received in order for you to actually go and do the job. So behavior, yes, DoorDash is actually good on that. But when it comes down to financial, it start becoming a question. Now, when we come down to money, uh, DoorDash still falls in the category because term says you will deliver. Each delivery will be at least 225 or more. You'll receive the tip and so on and so on. So here again, DoorDash falls and pays out according to in a contractor or subcontractor or a self-employed situation. You go out, you turn on the app whenever you're comfortable, whenever you feel, you're ready to work. You pick up a couple of the orders that you feel you're comfortable with. You move on and deliver. Now, when DoorDash says, in order to become a part of a program which DoorDash calls it a top dasher, now they're getting themselves again into employee situation. Because they're saying you no longer have 100% of the freedom. You only have 30% of the freedom because you have to qualify for 70% acceptance rate. Again, trying to be a part of the big program or catering program, you have to have a 95% completion rate. As a contractor, when you take on a contract, you should not have an option of canceling an order or denying something. You're obligated to complete that to the end, and when you completed an end, you got paid, and it's done deal. That part of the delivery part of the contract is complete. But DoorDash allows you to have a 95% completion rate. That means now they're allowing you to break the contract without any penalties. See, as a contractor, you cannot be forced to take a job that is not comfortable to you based on your criteria, but you are required to complete a job that you have taken in order to keep on having that contract. Be honestly, if you said somebody and ask them, hey, you have only 30 seconds to answer this question, the correct answer will be called, this is a complete mess. And in our situation as DoorDash drivers, it is a complete mess because you have rights at the same time, only 30% rights if you want to be a top dasher. Acceptance rate. You should not have any rights on canceling the order, but at the same time, they give you up to what is it? Up to 20% to cancel, and as a big program, up to 5% cancel. Again, allowing you to break an agreement of a contract. When you have a contract, you agree to an order, you need to complete an order. Just imagine this. You're a framer. You went out and you did a bid. Bid was accepted. Now they offered you a job. Job is under contract. Contract states that's in 3 days or in 5 days or in 7 days, whatever the contract states. You need to complete the home according to the specs on a blueprint. Now you go out, you start building a home. You picked up the walls, you put up the trusses. But then you said, you know what? I am not going to do the windows. I'm not going to do the doors. But windows and doors are part of your framing contract. So you cancel. But at the same time, you're demanding money pay for the work completed. But the work has not been fully completed. What exactly are you getting paid? Now we need to read in fine print. Does the builder or a contractor, because right now you're a subcontractor, what is the agreement based on? Half completed job. Now, what is considered a half completed job? In our scenario, windows are not up and doors, half completed job. But what if you actually went in and only threw one joist on the floor, on the frame, on the foundation? Is that considered as a half completed work? See, guys, we love the benefits of, oh, I can actually cancel the order. I can unassign an order. We love those benefits, but those are the benefits which converts us from contractors into employees. Because employee can, he goes starts a job for his employer. Let's say he throws one or two joists and says, you know what, this job is not for me. Or he builds a frame and says, you know what, but windows and doors, that's not for me. And he walks away. He got paid by hourly or base agreement per day, uh, and he walks away. But a contractor does not get paid until he fully completes a job. That means there is no half pays. There is no cancellation. If you cancel, you don't get paid. Okay, type of relationship. Are there written contract or employee type benefits? Written contract is actually our terms of terms and condition agreement, which states pension plan, insurance, vacation pay. Will the relationship continue, and is the work performed a key aspect of the business? It's not for DoorDash. It's not really a key aspect of the business because you have a bunch of employees, bunch of drivers driving around doing about the same thing. So no. Let's say if CEO was a contractor. Now the question would be, since it's a one person and he's the key to running this company, and without him the company cannot operate, then yes, he'll be a key aspect of the business. Um, so who are we? It all depends how things will continue. Now, here we give a little example. Lyft and Uber, taxi. Since Lyft and Uber somewhat carry some kind of insurance that covers a passenger, and if that actually extends to a driver, now driver can actually be considered an employee. But I believe DoorDash doesn't carry any insurance to cover drivers during our delivery time. So what exactly DoorDash does, it gives us leeway, and that leeway allows us, it also they provide us with a hot bag. Those are the things that actually puts DoorDash in a gray area. Who are we? But also, clearly, we have the freedom of schedule, freedom of choice of what delivery we pick, freedom of how we do the delivery. That means, we can put it in a hot bag, or we can put it just in the front seat, or we can throw it in the trunk, or we can put a delivery on the roof. DoorDash doesn't really tell you where to put the delivery. Although that DoorDash says you need to pick it up by this time, drop it off by this time at the customer place. DoorDash doesn't give you exact route and doesn't penalize you if you don't take that route. So that means you have a freedom of choosing any app, any navigation tool to actually get to the customer, get to the restaurant. So one thing that actually DoorDash has an issue with is calculating miles from where you're at to the restaurant. And this is again creates a gray area, because if you're a contractor, the only time or the mileage that the DoorDash should calculate for you and let you know how long this job going to be is actually from restaurant to the customer. You're on your own to the restaurant. Because remember, you're doing a delivery job. Not get to the restaurant and deliver, but to on your own get to the restaurant, deliver on your own from restaurant customer. And the only thing that's important in this delivery or in this contract is the food from restaurant to the customer. So yes, there is some things that questionable, but end of the day, you want the freedom to be taken away from you when you actually start working, then go fight becoming an employee. Go fight to get your benefits, to get your health insurance, to get your vacation pay, to get your pension plan, 401k or whatever it is. You want those things? You want an employment. That means you want an hourly rate, which also means you want fuel reimbursements for fuel on your vehicle. You want vehicle expenses, parking expenses. All of these expenses, all of those are reimbursements. It only falls under employment. If the con if you're satisfied as a contractor, then keep in mind you need to run as a contractor. That means you need to run for more than one company. So you receive for the same kind of work, you receive a check from at least two different companies. You receive a payment. If you're not satisfied with contracts, then don't sign up for those platforms. But if you did, now you have to play by the terms of those contracts, because those contracts have been prepared in a purpose for you to be a self-employed. That means you choose your time, you choose your delivery, you complete your delivery, you get paid. You get your own equipment, you get your own vehicle, you gas up a fuel of your choice, and you get a check based on what you agreed upon when you chose a job. That's the freedom of contractor. That's the beauty of contractor. Because also at the end of the day, at the end of the year, you're able to write off all the expenses that you had based on your contract. or contracts. Now, we might go back and look at the situation of FedEx. They had their drivers run as a contractors, but they supplied them with their trucks. They told them what time they have to be at the distribution center. They told them by what time they have to complete those deliveries, where to turn their trucks back in. Now, do we have here an employee situation or a contractor situation? Company's vehicle, company's gas, time at which you have to show up to work, time by which you have to complete work. We clearly see here this is an employee relationship. So, if you believe that you schedule yourself for 11 o'clock, now you have an employee relationship. That's why the Doordash, if you're not a top dasher, Doordash gets rid of you really quick. He cancels your schedule if they're not busy. To remind you, first of all, you schedule yourself. Doordash doesn't schedule you. Second thing, they don't have nothing for you, so you're under contract. Bye-bye. Now, with top dashers, it becomes a little bit more complicated because they start treating top dashers as somewhat employees. Yes, this is where actually it becomes complicated. Top dasher can dash anytime he wants. Yes, that's true. But at the same time, he's required to hold 70% acceptance rate. Now, how true is that as a contractor? You're supposed to have 100% freedom. They only give you 30% freedom. You know, if they would have at least gave you 51% freedom, maybe we'll say, okay, they're kind of trying to get out of that gray area. Right now, 30% freedom? No, you're partially employee. As a top dasher, you are partially an employee. So definitely think about that. I understand those top dashers. They try their best. They do their best. They take the junk, the stuff that nobody else wants to take. And in return, they're not getting reimbursed for gas. They're not getting reimbursed for their vehicle. They're not getting reimbursed for their time properly. They're not getting a pension plan. They're not getting insurance. And they're not getting vacation. But at the same time, they only have a 30% of freedom. The only freedom a top dasher has is to get on a schedule anytime. That is part of an independent contractor. But 30% allowed not to accept orders, you have to have 70% acceptance rate. That's an employee. That's an employee relationship. And I said from the beginning, I even called Doordash when I started driving. I told him clearly, the Top Dasher program is actually violation of the independent contractor terms and conditions. It's a violation of IRS common law rule. So, yes, for top dashers, there will be a situation where they will have to create a new class rule for top dashers. But we that are not top dashers, we that actually take whatever we want, we and we deliver whatever we want, we pay our own gas, we do all of that. The only thing is you have to get rid of that red bag that they sent you. You know, the hot bag. Or what you can consider that to be is reimbursement for the first month when you were treated as a top dasher for those 2 weeks. And then, and after those 2 weeks, you said, you know what? I don't want to have no relationship with DoorDash as a somewhat employee. but I am taking that hot bag as a gift. Now you were supplied nothing. Red card is actually just a form of a tool, of an app. An app I do not consider to be a tool that you are performing to. App is actually I would consider it to be the job order for the day, through which you, instead of going to corporate office to pick up the job orders for the day, you actually get them on the phone. So app I do not consider to be a tool through which IRS can consider that as an employee. But everything else outside an app and that red card, whatever you receive from DoorDash is actually an employee relationship. Hot bag is an employee relationship, guys. Now, if you bought tools from DoorDash, now you treated yourself as a contractor. You went out and you bought the tools, even though you bought it from the same company you work with, but you own them now. They're yours. DoorDash has no rights to it. They never provided those tools to you for free. You bought those tools. Now they're yours. Now, as they're yours, you can use them for you Uber Eats. Like example, I have bags. I have creator room bags. I have pizza bags. And not too long ago, I think a week or two ago, I delivered Uber order in a DoorDash bag, hot bag, right to the customer, to the customer business. I pulled it out, handed it to them, and I went on. See, I converted that tool that they gave me. I didn't buy it. They gave me. I converted that bag into right now as an ownership by using that bag for another company that is not DoorDash. Now, can DoorDash still come and pick that bag up? They probably could. But in my interest is actually send them that $8 that bag is worth and say, hey, thank you for that bag, but I want 100% ownership of it because I want to be independent. I don't want to be treated as an employee because you provided me the bag as an employee. I don't want an employee relationship. I want self-employed situation. So guys, it is somewhat a great area, but end of the day is how you interpret that in your mind. How you treat the tools that you are given in your mind is what actually plays out. If you take the top dasher situation and you're trying to convert it in self-employment situation, I don't even have a clue how you would do it. Because right now they're limiting you how much orders you can cancel, you can reject. So guys, it's a common sense. You choose what you want to, whatever you want to deliver. You go on the platform whenever available. They need more work, more drivers, and you get on it whenever you choose. You quit whenever you want, and you don't get penalized for that. I see that as a self-contractor situation. Now, soon as the minute they start limiting you, penalizing you, like with the top dasher, they penalize you for not being a top dasher because you failed to accept 70%. That is when they start treating you as an employee. So yes, if you say you're an employee because you're a top dasher and or you're or you're not a top dasher but you want to be a top dasher, now you have grounds to say, you know what, I'm being penalized. That's why I'm not a top dasher. See, top dasher program has no grounds of legality as in a self-employed situation. I'm amazed that it lasted this long and nobody has not found a way to deal that with IRS, with DoorDash and IRS, and making sure that that program ceased to exist. So, guys, I would really appreciate your guys' comment. How you guys feel about the Top Dasher program? How do you guys feel being penalized but not taking accepting 70%? How do those of you that are taking 70%? How do you guys feel being forced to take 75 to be in a program? I'd really like to know. I would like to also know how do you guys feel about that hot bag that you received from DoorDash? Does that make you an employee? Does that give you that employee feeling because you're still using that their bag, not your bag, their bag? They send it to you, but it's there. You haven't paid for it yet. How does that make you feel? Especially those that want to be in independent contract. How does it make you feel having that bag, having those penalties? Also, those of you that want to be employees, how does it feel not being reimbursed for the fuel, not being reimbursed for your time properly? How does that make you feel? Because I see very easy to convert DoorDash into independent drivers by getting rid of the bags and having drivers buy their bags, as well as getting rid of the Top Dasher program, um, the big order program, and catering program, and combine it all in one. And then select drivers who will be in a catering program uh, based on, I don't know, on best performance, I guess. Because there's nothing in IRS rules that state you cannot categorize your independent contractor by category. So you can categorize it by saying, hey, these drivers are putting more effort in. They bought their own equipment. They have the rest necessary tools. Okay, we'll keep those as a large orders and catering orders. And those of you that don't have no tools whatsoever, you guys will be only delivering orders that are already been prepackaged, like the McDonald's does. They prepackage them into the paper bags. You'll only will be designated to those orders, and those that actually have some sort of equipment, hot bag or whatever, pizza bag, then we'll categorize those based on what the contractor, the driver, subcontractor, what he categorized him by invest in this. Whatever he invested is what he categorized himself, and he can always switch by buying more equipment. But no, tell me, an 18-year-old that has no understanding of a difference, what is a self-employed and what is an employee? Does he ever going to go and buy any equipment? He's going to buy in a hot bag? He's going to see. I'm amazed that at least those 18-year-olds figure out that they need a car to deliver. Maybe because DoorDash requires that registration and that insurance. That's probably why they're helping them to realize that they need a car or they cannot be on a platform. But most of you that have driven for 6 months, a year, 2, 3, you understand very clearly that you're a contractor. You needed to buy more tools. You needed to actually have a good quality car. You need that nobody helped you out with gas. And those half pays. Ooh, half pays. It's impossible to not have those half pays, but at the same time, again, they make you an employee. Because nobody pays for a half a job done. Only pays for a full job done. Can you imagine you're a customer and you decided to build a home, and a builder agreed on building a home? Halfway through the construction, builder bails out. But you have to pay him half. Then a new builder comes around and he looks at the job done and he says, "Oh man, it's gonna cost you almost just as much as we could have started just a new home to build this. There's so many mistakes. It's so messed up. So you're like, okay, let's start it. That builder starts fixing issues, and he sees that it's actually outside of of the repairs that it's going to cost even more. He walks away again. You get a third one, and the process repeats and repeats. Eventually, you never get the job done. But out of your pocket, you already paid more than that house would be worth when it would be completed. See, that's why nobody pays half pay. It's either a completed job or no completed job. I used to be a builder. I know when you get a subcontractor in to do a job and they don't complete a job, I do not pay that subcontractor that failed to complete until the next one comes in and completes it. And whatever the next one charges me from what it should have been charged, if there was any money left, then that guy, the first guy gets, let's say example, was a $10,000 bid and they did some work. Then the new guy came in and he fixed whatever the problem was and completed the job, and he charged me 7,000. Then the 3,000 would get the first contractor. Maybe even they completed $7,000 worth of work. Sorry, you didn't finish the job. So you're going to get whatever left over from original bids. So guys, yeah, that's why I don't understand this on DoorDash that half pay. It just doesn't make sense in the contract world. But as an employee, yeah, it makes all the sense. You did the work, you should get paid. You showed up to the restaurant, you should get paid. So guys, think about that. Because if you're an employee, don't try to call DoorDash. If you're a contractor or you consider yourself to be a contract, be careful when you're calling DoorDash and then demanding that half pay. But if you're an employee and you consider yourself an employee, you should turn DoorDash into hell until they pay you the fair amount. Or you should walk away. Because this job that we're doing, there is no room for employees. And we don't want employees in our arena. That means we need to readjust a little bit and send a message to DoorDash. Hey, DoorDash, no more red bags or hot bags. No more half pays. But we want a good base pay. Be blessed, guys. Talk to you later.